Okay, so it's been a while since I played the game, so I'm going to kind of forget some stuff. But spoiler alert, I'm liking the game less and less each time I play a new episode. Like, I don't know, I just don't get it. I don't get how they can write stuff in such an annoying fashion every time. And I'm trying to think, well, let's just go through the story and then I'll just talk about the things that have been annoying me. So, the game starts on the second episode, so, the first episode ends with the guy going all like explosive because you lied to him. He's like, don't you lie to me ever again, which is never brought up again. I don't know if maybe in the last two episodes they'll give you like some type of chance to lie to him. But it turns out that I guess they've been traveling on that on the bus, and then they like, because if you go through the journal, you can see that a couple months has passed. Like, there are big time jumps in this game. So a couple months has passed, and they're like kind of held up in this abandoned cabin, and they just been living there for a while because I think they tried working somewhere and they got screwed over something, but like basically now they're in this cabin in the middle of the woods. And it starts off with you, like, I guess he's been trying to train the big brother's been trying to train the little brother on like his telekinesis powers. So you're training him and you see like, oh, he's getting pretty good with it. Like, he's improving with it. Like, he can pick up a big boulder, or he has control. Like, he can stop a what do you call it? A snowball. So, that's okay. So then, like, you return back to the house, and it turns out that the little kid is getting sick now. Like, he's just been having a cold. So you're like, oh, we got to leave, we got to get medicine. And they're, I guess, just coincidentally, they're fairly close to their grandparents. So they're like, oh, we can go to our grandparents and they'll help us out. Surely they'll help us out because they're our grandparents. And so, like, you're going to have your last day there. And then it turns out, like, while you're packing, like, the day ends, whatever's crap. While you're packing, you remember you get a little dog. So the little dog, I guess, needs to go out to pee. So you open the door and let it out. And then the little brother goes out, goes after him after they get hit, like, he gets his stuff all packed. So then you have to do like a final checkup of the house and like get water or something. So then afterwards you go outside and you're like, oh, where's the little brother? Where can he be? Where's the dog? And then you see like footprints. So you're following the footprints to figure out where the dog and the little brother is, because you're assuming the brother's running after the dog got lost or something. So I'm thinking like, oh man, there's gonna be some drama. Maybe someone found us or something. Typical, like, whatever story drama. But then while you're trying to find them, you find the dog's little, what do you call it? You find its little cloth or whatever, that handkerchief or something. So and it's all bloody. So you're like, what the heck happened? So then you walk a little bit further, and now you see the dog is in the mouth of a freaking saber-toothed tiger or whatever it is, freaking like mountain lion. So you're like, what the heck? Like, this kind of came out of nowhere. Like, it's only the first like the 20 minutes of the game, if that, depending on how fast you play it. So then, the dog's dead. And then the kid, like, picks up I guess you could allow him or make him not, but I just let it happen. The kid picks up the saber-toothed tiger or the mountain lion and then just collapses it, like collapses his lungs or collapses, like breaks his bones, kind of like, with the telekinesis. So now the lion's dead, and I'm just sitting there like, what the heck? Like, the game just started. You just got this dog, basically. So, like, it's weird that they killed it off not only so early, but in such a weird way. Like, out of nowhere, a mountain lion kills it. You barely, like, what's the point even having the dog in the first place then if you're going to kill it? Like, you're going to get it at the end of the first episode, and then at the beginning of the second episode. What's the point? And there's no drama to it. You don't get, that's another thing about some of these writers. They don't give you enough time to build a relationship with a character before expecting you to care. So it's like, oh man, this would have been a dramatic death of the dog if this was like episode 3 or something. I barely know who this dog is. I don't even remember what his name was. It's something stupid. So, like, why kill it? Like, why, like, add this weird drama? Like, I don't know if this is like video game development issues, like, where they're like, oh, we can't deal with another human walking around, or another like entity walking around, a dog. That would be too hard. So we should just kill it now. Where it's like, what the heck? And then, like, because it was so out of nowhere, I also looked up online, like, what are other people saying? And, they're basically saying the same thing as me. And one person suggested, which would have been a good idea. Why not just leave it with the grandparents? You're going to the grandparents anyway. So let's just say, oh, we don't want to deal with the dog anymore. Then why don't give it up to the grandparents or something? So then you have a little more time with the dog, or like it doesn't seem out of nowhere where it's just like, what the heck was this? So anyway, you give a little funeral for the dog that you barely knew, and then you go and do a road trip to your grandparents, which, that was all skipped. So you're like basically hitchhiking until you get to the grandparents' place. So you get to the grandparents' place, you knock on the door. It turns out they already know that, because like they were questioned by the police. So they already know that the dad's dead. And they're like, they basically reluctantly decide to help you guys out, or help them out and let them live there. So you're living with the grandparents for a while. Also, it turns out, like, of course, the grandparents are the same, like, it's that nosy neighbor. That's who the grandparents are. So you see that, well, the noisy neighbor from the Captain Amazing Marvel, whatever freaking thing, Captain Adventures. It's the same kid. So you know that kid, that's the kid next door. And that was one thing that was kind of interesting. Like, you see, like, the certain pranks that you played or whatever, or like, when you called the phone, or when you were using the pop rockets or whatever to destroy the snowman, you hear that in the background, like while you're walking around the house during the second day. Which is cool. Like, it gives you like a little bit of I guess expands on like it shows that your choices did happen, I guess, in a way. I mean, those were only, one of them wasn't even a choice. You had to do that. But like, say, calling the house, that was kind of cool. We're like, oh, I know what's going to happen next. I played this. So that's like a little Easter egg or whatever for people who played that little free game. But at some point you want to go outside and play around. But they say to be careful because, you're still a wanted person. It's a small town. People will recognize you, blah, 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 blah. So, you have to play it safe. So then you go outside to the backyard just to play around, just to give the little kid some fresh air, since they've been inside all day, or for a couple, who knows, like it could have been for a week or something. So you go outside, you see the kid fall, like just like from the Marvel Adventure, whatever thing. So the little kid, he uses telekinesis to stop him. And then, like, the kid, the Marvel's Adventure, whatever his name, he is like, what the heck? Did you guys see that? I have powers. And like, I guess they lie, or that, no, I tried to like brush it off. Like, yeah, I did see that. That was crazy. And not like, make it that it was the little kid who had the powers, or the brother who has the powers, but also trying to like kind of gaslight him and be like, that was just a crazy coincidence. But your brother ends up like, it's another person his age, so he wants to hang out with him. And I'm like, no. Like, if you do, obviously that's going to create some type of issue where there's going to be like, where the police are going to come, and then we're going to have to leave again. So don't hang out with him. But then turns out the next day, the brother goes to the house without like telling anyone, because it turns out the grandparents are I guess they are, what do you call it? They're going to church. So the kid, he just goes off on his own. And that's the beginning of like where the kid stops being cute and starts being annoying, because he just doesn't listen to you at all for anything. He never listens. And like, I was complaining about this with a friend, about how this kid never listens, and that's annoying like thing to like make a story about a brother who was being like annoying, where they were like, oh, well, that's realistic, because I have two younger sisters, but I do remember them being annoying, kind of thing, like, them not listening or doing stuff that's like they shouldn't be doing, which is annoying. And they were like, oh, that's really realistic, because they have a younger brother who's literally the same age, is 9 or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's realistic to me, them being, that's how little brothers are. They never listen. But my issue is like, okay, that's realistic. That's like, once I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe it is realistic. Okay. Like, who am I to judge? Like, but then I'm like, throughout, like, even the third episode, where I'm like, okay, but why continue it? Like, you can do it once or twice and be like, okay, this is realistic sibling kind of dynamic. But now it's just becoming annoying, where you're like, I don't even want this. I don't care about this character anymore. They're just annoying. They're annoying to be annoying. They're causing dramas that don't need to be started. Like, where it's all because of him, where it's like, you're not making a fun story anymore. Now it's just babysitting someone who's like endangering or whatever, where it's like, this is not a likable character. This is not a character that's like where you worry about him. Like where things happen to him, now you're just like, see, that's what you get. Where that's not how you're supposed to be feeling by the second episode. Like maybe by the fourth episode where you're like, oh man, this is annoying, or like where you can see the like, there's a rise and fall. Like sometimes he's cute, sometimes he's annoying, sometimes he's cute, sometimes he's annoying. But it just seems like throughout these episodes, it's just becoming more and more annoying. It's a slope that keeps going up. It never goes back down. So now you're just rolling your eyes constantly. But I'll get to that. But anyway, so the kid goes over to the other person's house, which is annoying. So now you have to go over there because obviously now he's a danger where it's like, it could cause the police to come or whatever. So, but before you go, you can explore the house a little bit. So you can go online, use your grandparents' computer, even though they told you not to, but I guess there's no consequence to doing it. Unlike the brother, where there are consequences. But the other one, which maybe that could have been a thing where they made consequences to you breaking the grandparents' rules, where you're like, oh, see, it's not just the brother. It's all of you. But no, I guess that's too much work. So anyway, you can look online on the computer and you can see like what people are saying about you and blah, 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 blah. Like, they're calling you a cop killer. They're saying you should go like, never put Mexicans back into America or whatever. Speaking of that, before I even get on that, there were comments, again, I always read the comments kind of thing. And they're like, yeah, you can have politics and stories, but, don't make it realistic or don't make it modern day politics. I'm not listening to a story that da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, then what do you expect a story to be about? What do you want people to talk about? If you can't talk about the human condition, you can't talk about politics, you can't talk about like a certain whatever type of like, let's say, scandalous type of things that aren't like normal. Like, let's just say, I don't know, lesbian relationships, gay relationships. You can't talk about minorities either. No one wants to talk about minorities. Like, I'm getting black, what do they call it? Black exhausted. Like, I forgot what they call it, but, where they're getting freaking tired of seeing black people online or on cinema or whatever. We're like, okay, so you can't talk about anything. You can't talk about the politics. You can't talk about minorities. You can't talk about certain scandalous personality tropes or whatever. So what can you talk about in stories then? Like seemingly you can't talk about anything. They just want to talk about the same things over and over again. Okay, princess saves a castle or someone saves a princess. You can talk about someone becoming like a token, of course not minority, but a token majority race in a token minority sector, like say Doom or something. Dune, where it's like, oh, he turns out he is the Jesus. Oh, could have thought, oh, he's the Jesus of our people. Like you can only talk about those two types of story types. Don't talk about females either. No, they don't want females in stories either. So you can only talk about these couple small things in every story. Where it's like, does that make sense to you that you talk about the same things? And then if anything, if you don't want any type of politics in a story, there are stories that are like that. You can find them, but it's gonna be rare. It's gonna be a small thing because it turns out, who would have thought people who are artists tend to talk about things that are surrounding their mind, because an artist wants to express their personality or their emotions. And usually when you're emotional about something, it's going to be something that's modern. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm so emotional about Caesar when he was stabbed in the back, 13 times. It's like, no. Maybe a historian will talk about that, but an artist talks about stuff that are current most of the time. That's why they have an artistic mind, because they're thinking outside of their own mind kind of thing, of the stuff that they see or they experience. So they want to talk about it or they want to express it in another medium. So I don't know. I think people are idiots. We're talk about politics. Oh, unless they're politics I like. It's like, shut up. Like, what are you reading for then? Like, just don't read. Don't experience. Don't watch movies. Only watch the classics then. You can do that. And if anything, there are a lot of books or a lot of movies that are from the past that you can, fill in your safe space about, like you don't have to watch modern day things then. If modern day things are going to talk about modern day issues, then don't experience modern day. It's that easy. But people are dumb. You just people are just dumb. It's not that it affects me though. I don't care. I just find it funny. But anyway, I was talking about the computer. So then when you see that your friend, or your best friend forever, the girl, it turns out she's very bothered by this, of course, because she's kind of like, you're her best friend forever. And, she's dealing with the stress and the grief of losing the friend and like all this stuff happening. It happened out of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. So you have the chance to call her. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call her. So you have a nice little conversation. It turns out she's very depressed and blah 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 blah. You say you love her at the end, but it's a friendship I love you kind of thing where you're like, what the heck? Like, I mean, I still don't get it. I still think that like, I know it's a trope, it's a typical trope, but it feels weird that they are such close friends and there's nothing else beyond that. Like, I know that's probably a horn dog thing to say, but it just seems off, I guess. Like, it just seems like you keep I don't know, it just seems like a weird relationship, like, because it's, they I don't know how else to say it. It's just weird to me. Where I'm like, okay, this is like, I don't know how to take it. Like, is this supposed to be some type of story, or there's going to be some like ending where it's like, oh, it turns out they loved each other this whole time, and they're just masking their emotions, or are they literally BFFs, like to the point they're crying and they're saying they love each other, but it's just they're just as if they're twins basically. They're just similar aged friends. Where it's like that's weird, like for a dude and a girl wise, like to be that deep in the friendship, and there's nothing else. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, so now after doing that phone call, you go and need to, get your brother. So I walked around the house and you can see through the window the little brother is using his powers. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, he's breaking, like, and then because multiple times, like throughout the story, I guess they purposely do that. Throughout the story, you're telling him these are the 3 rules. Don't use your powers in the open. Don't don't brag about your powers. Don't let it get to your head, where you feel like you're a god kind of thing. Blah 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 blah. You keep reiterating these rules that you're supposed to do. Stay away from the police. Don't cause any due attention to yourself. But he breaks them every time. He just doesn't care. But like, because this story is you're trying to escape the police kind of story, it makes it even more annoying that he doesn't listen. Because you're like, what the heck? Like, it's not funny. It's not cute. It's just annoying. And I'm not trying to, like, especially as an older sibling who has dealt with that kind of annoyance or whatever, it's like, I'm not trying to escape into a game where it's just as annoying. Like, oh man, don't you feel the nostalgia? No, I don't. It's annoying. It's pissing me off. Where I'm like, what the, like, especially when you said it directly to the person, and they break the, you break the promise or they break the rules or whatever. And then what's annoying to me also is that the older brother, he kind of just lets it go. He just lets it happen. Like, the kid's spoiled now, fully spoiled, where every time anything that goes wrong, he's just like, oh, it's okay. Where it's like, no, it's actually not okay. Like, you're disrupting the life every time. But anyway, so you go through the door, you open the door, of course, unannounced. You don't even ring the doorbell or whatever. The kid, the Marvelous Avenger dude, it turns out, or Captain Spirit, he thinks that he has the powers. So it turns out now that little brother has been lying. Now, on top of doing the powers, he's been lying and telling the kid that it's him who can do it. So now you already know the kid is thinking that he has these special powers that he can, like, make stuff levitate and fly away and stuff when he can't. So I'm like, my gosh. And there's no option to be like, hey, this is not, like, you shouldn't be doing this, because now the kid's going to have, like, these, it's dangerous. Like, he brings it up later, but not at the time. But yeah, it's like dangerous because now the kid thinks that he has powers. So then it gets even worse. It turns out the dad's still there, and the dad's like, hey, we've been planning to, get a Christmas tree. Do you want to come with us? And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Because if I do, I'm going to get caught. Like, these are obvious things. I don't know why they, like, I get they need the drama, but I'm like, make it less obvious type stuff. Like, where it's like, obviously what's going to happen, I'm going to go get the Christmas tree. I'm going to be spotted by some random person, and then the police are going to come and I'm going to have to run away. That's going to be the end of the whole episode. It turns out I predict the whole episode. It turns out the guy's like, okay, well, I'll do it for the kid. Come on. Like, we might as well have some fun. And then you go out to the Christmas tree place. You go to the Christmas tree place and, you end up meeting someone, which is, again, like, okay, you meet some person that you're going to meet in episode 3, which is like these, like, kind of punk rock people. Not meth heads, they're potheads, punk rock potheads, who are going to, like, you're going to meet in episode 3. And then she gives you the idea that you can use the train to travel, do train hopping or whatever. So then while you try to get a Christmas present for the little brother. So you get a Christmas present, you spend whatever amount of money and get this Christmas present. We got to go home before the grandparents come because they also said, do not leave the house. You'll get notice, and then, police will come or whatever. But you do it anyway, so blah, 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 blah. So now you're like, we got to get back. So then you get back, and there's you also see that, the little brother's having a good time, even though it's going to get ruined. Like, okay, he's going to have a good time, but it's going to get ruined because the police are going to come. But anyway, you talk to the father. You remember that abusive father from the Captain Spirit, whatever, free episode. And he's trying to, like, I mean, looking back, you're supposed to, like, talk to him about certain stuff. And so then you can make him feel less guilt about his wife. But I'm like, I only just met this guy 10 minutes ago or whatever, or 20 minutes ago, whatever, before we went to get the Christmas trees. And he's like telling me, like hinting out, like, it's been a hard time living without the wife, and like he had this accident happen and this. And I'm like, knowing from the free game, I'm like, I know that he is dealing with this in like, kind of like any way he can, which is alcohol. And I'm like, I don't want to anger this guy or offend him, because who am I to like give him advice when the older brother's only like 17. So I'm like, who am I to give some type of advice to this grown 30 to 40-year-old man? So I'm like, okay, like I'm just trying to like be like, okay, it's okay, like, yeah, that sucks, like not give too much authority to it. But then it turns out, like, at the end of the episode, like, when they show you the stats, oh, you could have convinced them to this. Where it's like, what the heck? What the heck? Why? Like, how is a 17-year-old supposed to, I don't know, just some weird. So anyway, you go off, but it seemed like the father and the little kid is all happy and stuff, because, he's racing the kid with the truck. So I'm like, oh, maybe I did something good at the time. So then you go inside. So you go inside instantly. The little brother is causing, because that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough to not only break the rule about the powers, break the rules about leaving the house. Now he wants to break the rules about going into his mother's old room, because it turns out like your mother abandoned the family. They don't really explain it. Like, she just went off on her own and abandoned the family. So you end up, like, it turns out they have like her old bedroom, and the bedroom's locked. I don't know why, but they locked the bedroom because I guess they don't want to remember anything or something. I don't know. They just don't want to acknowledge that the mother exists. I don't know. So the little brother is obsessed with the mother because she left before he was, I guess, conscious. Like, he was like 1 year old. So he's like, I want to go into the room. I want to go in the room. So you end up breaking into the room, and you see all her old stuff. And I guess it alludes to, like, she was the type of person to always want to escape her small town, which I don't blame her. That small town seemed kind of boring, but she always wanted to escape it. And I guess it's alluding that she always wanted to escape her family. She doesn't care about anyone else. And then you find a letter. In the letter, it says, like, oh, I know what's happening with the father dying and the police chasing after him. And she was saying to the grandparents, like, if you ever see my kids, please take care of them. Something. So now you're like, oh, like the little brother's like, she does care about us. She does care about us. So you're trying to tell him, like, hey, just because she sent a little letter doesn't mean that she doesn't care about us, because look where we are now. She's not with us right now. But the little brother's like in his head about all this. So he's causing all this drama, yelling or whatever. And then the grandparents come in. And the grandparents are like, how dare you? Why did you come in here? We explicitly told you not to come in here. And drama starts with the grandmother. And then turns out the grandfather, he gets crushed by a dresser. So now you have the choice to either let him die under the dresser or tell the little brother to use his powers. So I'm like, okay, use your powers. So he uses his power to pick it up. The grandmother, who is like more religious, I guess, because it turns out the grandfather already knew about his powers. The grandmother didn't, but the grandmother's like more religious, and like she's reacting to like, having these mystical powers. But before she can react, it turns out the police are here now, because they're like, hey, we recognize the two little brothers, open the door. We know they're in here. So the grandmother, like, goes to try to distract them. And then you got to pack all your stuff and you got to leave. So you go to leave outside the back door. For some reason, you don't run in the backyards or run in the forest or whatever. You decide to run on the main road. So obviously you're running on the main road. They look at the main road and they see two kids. Who else would these two kids be? So they're like, oh, we got to get them. So the one of the police officers start driving to you. And then this is the stupidest ending I've ever seen. So then when the freaking police car is getting closer to catch up to you, you see the Captain Spirit. He runs in front of the car and puts his hands up. Like, I guess because he thinks he has the powers. And then he gets hit and dies. He just dies. So you're like, what the heck just happened? Like, this is stupid. Like, so the kid dies from the police officer. I guess it stops him. It stops it, but still. And then it turned, like, what was annoying, I forgot to say, was that, like, while you're at the Christmas tree thing, you told the brother, hey, you need to tell him, the little kid, that he does not actually have these powers. It's you who have the powers. So you can't tell him. You need to tell him before it gets dangerous. Like, him thinking that he has these powers. Turns out the little brother didn't tell him. It just didn't tell him. Just like, I didn't want to or something. I don't know. So now the kid's dead. And now they try to guilt you I don't know, like how they expect me to care. Because at the end of the episode, it's the little brother being all pissed. Like, oh, I should have told him. I don't even want this present. Because you gave him this Christmas present because it's like Christmas. He throws it on the ground or whatever. Because you're like, I don't even want it. Oh, what's his name? Could be dead. I don't even know what's wrong. And it's like, it's your fault. Like, I don't know what emotion they're expecting me to play, like, be the player playing. Like, when I'm like, oh, this is so sad. Oh man, oh, poor little brother. Oh. No, I'm like, like, I told you not to do this. Or to do this, and you decided not to. So it's like, maybe the game was made by people who aren't older siblings, perhaps? Because, like, I don't know what they're expecting. Like, emotionally wise. Are you supposed to feel bad for the brother? Are you supposed to, like, and then even the Captain Spirit thing, like, the fact that he got hit, like, out of nowhere, like, when there's all these, like, ricocheting, like, crap, like, the dominoes are all falling, when he gets hit by the freaking police car, I'm almost laughing, because it's like, it came out of nowhere. It's not sad. It's not sad, it's just angry. Like, angry. It's just, whatever. It just makes you mad. So, that's the end of the episode 2, where you're like, this is annoying. Like, this little brother just constantly not listening to you is annoying. But it gets worse. So episode 3, it turns out you run to you do train hopping. So that's how you escape. And then just coincidentally, while train hopping, you end up seeing those pothead, like, punk kids. And they, like, they convince you to work at a pot farm, and I guess you're making a fair amount of money. I guess for fugitives, you're making a fair amount of money, and all you do is just help with the pot farm. So it's a nice little gig. You're making a fair amount of money. Like, let's say right now, I think when I looked in the wall, he had like almost $2,000 or something. It was like, dang, he's making a fair amount of money. So you're in like a little camp, like everyone's with their sleeping bags and blah, 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 blah. So everyone seems cool. It seems like the older brother's like starting to fit in with everyone. Everyone seems to like him, and everyone seems to like, he seems like he's finding his way kind of thing, and feeling like, for once, he's not like feeling stressed, I guess, because he's like with the community. But no, the little brother's all pissed. He's still talking about like he doesn't want to go to Mexico. He wants to find out the mother now. Where it's like, who are you to talk? Like, you're not, you're a little kid. Follow what I say, or we're all gonna die. And then there's also like the little brother's getting like jealous of the older brother not spending 24 hours of the day with him. Like, you can spend like 2 seconds away and he's getting mad. It was like, what the heck? So, let me think. What happened? It turns out that the younger brother is using his powers to, like, basically breaking the rules again. Because he was, like, throwing knives at whatever it's called. Throwing knives at trees with one of the punk kids. Or punk, whatever they're called. One of the potheads, basically. I just call them potheads. He's throwing knives at the tree with one of the potheads. And he's getting a bullseye every time. And he's using his powers. So you're like, okay, like, you're not supposed to be using your powers. But then the pothead comes to you and says, hey, why don't you try? Like, is this hereditary? Like, or is this just the family gene of being good at throwing knives at bullseye? So it turns out they do a little mini game. So you can throw it bullseye. It's pretty easy. So I'm throwing bullseye, another bullseye. And then the kid, I guess, getting mad that you're good without powers, he makes it fly off. like using his telekinesis. So obviously this is annoying. Like it's not even a cute annoying. It's actually annoying, especially like knowing what happened in episode 2. It's more annoying. Like it's not cute anymore. Which reminds me, by the way, of like episode 1 where even like he was telling the best friend forever, he was telling her that, hey, she's not always cute. He's not like, because she thinks like he's just this adorable kid. Turns out, I don't know that, but what's weird, it's like if that's the theme of the story, that's not a good theme. It's just annoying. Like, okay, I get it. Like this is like a simulation of being an older brother, and younger brothers or younger siblings are annoying. But that's not fun. Like that's the issue. There's nothing fun about that. Like I'm not playing a game to be older brother simulator. Like there's nothing fun about it. And then other simulator games, like say Microsoft Flight Simulator or whatever, Construction Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, usually they're calming or like they are ironically fun or something. Older brother simulator is not fun. It's not calming. It's annoying. So it's like, I don't know what this story's supposed to like be. There's no coming of age at all. There's no like growth of the character arc. There's nothing. It's just annoying from start to finish. And it just gets worse and worse. That's the issue too. So then anyway, I forgot what happens. Oh yeah. So after you lecture him about like, stop using your powers like this, what I told you multiple times, then it turns out you have to go to work. So you go to work, working at the wheat pot farm, and you're just like cutting leaves. And like, that's another, like, it seemed like they were just kind of doing it to make the episode longer. Like there wasn't really much about it other than like, okay, these are 5 to 10 minutes. That is just 5 to 10 minutes. So you're just doing a mini game to cut the pot leaves or whatever while the people around you are talking. The younger brother being annoying, he's acting like I don't know, he needs to just be quiet. That's the issue. Like he needs to just not talk as much. But he's acting like this is a game kind of thing. When it would be different if this is a more calm story. But this is a story like where you're literally running from the law, and he's still trying to act like a child, and but also trying to act like he's not a kid anymore. So it's annoying. So he gets in trouble, and because he's in trouble, that means you're in trouble because you get pulled off to the side. And they're saying like, hey, you need to take care of your younger brother because, if he keeps on like this, you're going to get fired. So I'm like, okay, I need to, like, he needs to stop. But he doesn't. He just continues and continues. So anyway, at the end after you finish work, just listening conversations the whole time where you're like, what the heck was this? So you go back to walking around the camp. Turns out the brother wants to like practice his telekinesis or whatever. So you go to practice it, and everything is going okay. Like everything is going okay. He's actually getting very good. He's able to really control his powers. But then something happens. I forgot what it was, but the younger brother gets mad, and I remember just being like, "What the heck? Like, why is he getting mad over this stuff?" Like, I think it was something like either he's mad about you not. I think he wanted to go see the mother again. He said something about like, oh, we can, see the mother or something, I don't know. It was something stupid. It doesn't even matter what it was. It's just something stupid. And he gets mad over it. So now he starts picking up the freaking log or like this tree that was inside a river or something. And he starts picking it up with his telekinesis. So it's kind of off-putting and creepy because all this power in a kid who is like ultimately mentally disturbed, I guess, and like doesn't listen and doesn't do anything. So you can't control him in any way, or you can't like make him listen. So you don't know what he's going to do with his power. So you're like even the older brother's getting scared. He's like, stop it. And then he goes off. It's like, I'm not a kid anymore. So now the kid like acting like he's not a kid anymore. So you're like, okay, whatever. So he's sitting around the fire, talking to everyone, and, people are just giving more backstory about themselves, I guess. So then it turns out, like, at the end of that conversation or end of that little thing, the younger brother's like, hey, are you going to go to sleep soon? I'm like, you go to sleep then. Go to your own tent. Go to your tent. Why do you need me to walk you to your tent? I'm still hanging out with, the people who are cool with him. I'm still hanging out with the friends or whatever. So the brother gets all mad. It's like, what? Are you, like, I thought you were not a kid anymore. Like, what the heck? Why are you acting like a little brat? Constantly. 24/7. Acting like a brat. So then, he gets mad or whatever. So I'm like, I don't care. So you're talking to everyone. It turns out that one of the girls like have a big crush on you, or you have a big crush on. It's mutually like each other kind of thing. So it turns out that the brother doesn't wake you up. I don't know why you needed to be woken up, but it turns out the brother doesn't wake you up. So now you're almost late to work. So you're not though. and then you go to work and normal work stuff, blah, 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 blah. Speaking of, that's something I forgot to mention. Music-wise, it doesn't seem like music is as big of a part in this game as it was with Life is Strange 1. Like, I feel like that's kind of a pity because Life is Strange 1 had a very cool atmosphere due to the music, due to the licensed music. And it seems like this game really doesn't use the licensed music to the same extent. I don't know. It just feels weird that it's not as emotional. And I don't know if it's because of the story. I don't know if it's because of the music choices or if it's because they're using less music. I don't know. But it's just the music isn't as hitting, which is a bad thing because now you're focusing on the story more. So the music doesn't hide the story as much. So anyway, after work, after you finish snipping the pot leaves or whatever, they're about to pay. So you go to payday or whatever. So they do the pay in batches, I guess. So he's like, okay, you 3 or whatever, you 4, it's your turn to like get paid. So you're about to walk into the building to get paid. And the older brother, or the younger brother, being a brat constantly, he's like, why can't I come in? And he's like, because you're a kid. Like, you just can't. Just wait outside. And he's like, I want to go in. And you're like, I don't get it. For me, I don't get it. Like, it's not fun. It's not cute. It's just annoying, especially when you're dealing with this constantly throughout the whole story. So you're like, no, just stay outside. So you go inside, you're about to get paid. They even say, like, the dude's even saying, like, hey, you, the older brother, whatever, you did a good job. It seems like you're really coming into tune with stuff, you're doing good work, So I'm like, nice, I'm gonna get my pay, blah, blah, blah. But then it turns out the younger brother, he broke into the house, which made no sense. He broke into the house, so he gets caught because he broke into the house. And because he broke into the house, these freaking drug dealers, they're pissed because they're like, they're probably paranoid or whatever about this little kid breaking into the house. It's not cute. There's nothing cute about it because either way, it's a person breaking into their establishment or whatever. So the kid's like, oh no, I just broke into because something, some excuse, because he's just not listening. He's just doing it because you said no. He's just going to do it anyway. He's going to get in any way he can. So they're about to punish the kid. And to be honest, I was like, I'm going to let it happen. Because he does need to be taught. He needs to be taught that there are consequences to what he does. Like he didn't listen with the freaking his best friend or whatever the captain's spirit died because of him. He didn't listen when he had to move out of the parents' house or the grandparents' house because he went off or whatever. He's just not listening constantly. So I'm like, let them do whatever. I don't know how they're going to punish him, but I'm like, let him punish him because he needs to learn. But then the kid, of course, uses his telekinesis and throws a pot at the guy's head, like before he gets punished. So he turns around because, of course, he doesn't know he has telekinesis. He's like, who did that? Who did that? So I just have to raise my hand. And they're like, it was me. And then I get punched in the freaking eye. And then, of course, the little brother, there's no one talks to him about it. No one says like, hey, why did you do? Because now they're all fired. Or at least he's definitely fired. And everyone else doesn't get their pay. Everyone doesn't get their pay because of him. Even people who weren't like connected to the brother. No one talks to the little brother like, hey, that was messed up. You screwed us over. Like, that wasn't cool. Da, 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 da. No, everyone just brushes it off. Not even the older brother talks about, like, with the big black eye because he got punched because he made it seem like, it was him who threw the pot at him or threw the pan at him. So it's like, I don't know, everything's just so annoying. So, like, now you're talking to everyone because now everyone knows he has telekinesis powers because, they saw that it wasn't you who had the thing float and then hit the guy in the back of the head. So you're telling everyone's all freaked out. The religious dude is like, oh man, like, oh man, this is trippy, oh man, it's restoring my faith. And then everyone else is like, okay. So then you walk off. It turns out one of them is like, hey, we could use his powers to break into the drug dealer's place and steal from the safe, steal money from the safe, and we'd be set for life. And I'm like, no, like, this is just a bad idea in general. We're going to get shot and killed, or something bad's going to happen. Like, that doesn't even make any sense in general. But I knew how the story was going to be. He's going to do it anyway. He's going to somehow get the little brother to do it anyway, even though I said no. So then afterwards, because this is your last day, because you got to move out, because, you got fired. So now you have to go back down, keep traveling down to Mexico. What's it called? One of the girls, she, you have some love scene with the girl because, this is your last chance. So now you have some love scene with her. And then after the love scene, you walk out and you're like, hey, where's the little kid? And they're like, oh, he was with, what's his name? So then that automatically means, okay, that means since they're not here, they're going to break into the safe anyway. So now you have to like do all these mini games or whatever, or something to like try to break the, like, steal the car so you can drive and then like pop the tire so then you can't be chased after something. So you drive the car to the place. And while you're driving to the place, or like when you're at the pothead place or the drug dealer place, you're like walking around. And I don't know why I thought this, because I just thought the writers were going to try something new this time. Because I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't see anything. I don't see anyone. I don't see any evidence of them around. Maybe they didn't steal the car. Maybe that was the drug dealer's car. So then I was like, maybe it's going to be where it turns out you were wrong. It turns out the brother actually did listen to you this time. For the once, the brother actually did listen to you, and you drove into the house thinking that he didn't, which caused the drama. Like where you were the reason this time because you didn't trust your brother. So like, like now you're breaking into the house thinking that he broke in to stop him from breaking in, but then everyone sees that you're breaking in, and then that's what gets you in trouble or whatever. And then now there's now the brother saves you. So I was like, oh man, this story's about to get interesting. Like finally they're thinking. But no, I open the door and I see the brother and the one of the potheads trying to break in. So I'm like, so now it's annoying again because now they're just breaking what you say. So you go to lecture your little brother. You're like, hey, what did I say? Why are you trying to break in? This is dangerous. Da 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 da. And then he's like, I'm not a kid anymore. And then he busts open the door. Like with all the powers, it breaks the hinges, which obviously wakes up the drug dealer. And then, now you're like the drug dealer's with in front of you guys with a shotgun. And it's like, hey, so now you guys going to break into my home and steal our stuff. So like, so now he's pissed. So he's like, you guys need a lesson, blah, 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 blah. And again, this time I'm like, I'm going to let it happen because, these people, they're just not listening. So the brother needs some type of coincidence, some type of trauma, I guess. So then he listens more. So I'm just waiting. He's like, go lay down or whatever. And I'm like, okay, let me lay down. Whatever happens, rather as me get shot or one of the friends get shot, oh well. Because something needs to happen because the kid's just never listening. So it doesn't matter. So then, I don't know what he's about to do, but like the drug dealer dude, he like points the shotgun at one of the potheads. And it's like, hey, I can't believe you're trying to break into my house. This. So I guess he's about to shoot him. I don't know. Cause he didn't seem like he was going to kill anyone. It seemed like maybe he was going to like shoot his leg or something or make him a cripple or something. But then of course the younger brother gets mad and starts, everything starts flying around and then he like explodes the house. Oh, no. So the little brother does something like he stands up and like uses his power to do something. Like, let's just say he throws a rock at him or something. He's like, stop. So then he gets shot. He gets shot with a shotgun. I'm like, that's what he gets. But then, of course, because he gets shot, then he goes rage mode and explodes the house. So now he explodes the house and that's like the end of the game or end of the episode. So the house is exploded. And then it shows like a little teaser and it shows looking around the house. You see like all the shrapnel, you see broken wood and da 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 da. You see, I don't know if they're dead or not, but you see like the pothead's bodies on the ground. You see the drug dealer's body on the ground. Then it goes further and you see the older brother. He has like shrapnel in his freaking eye. So he lost his eye. And then it ends. Like I kind of rambled. I don't even know if I had anything like worthy to say, but I mean, that's the last, the 2 episodes I played. And more of the story is it's annoying. Everything's annoying and it's just not fun. It's not a good story. Like the story just is getting worse and worse. And it's still dramatic. Like at least there's still like the mystic element of it, which was the issue with Before the Storm. Where Before the Storm was just boring and it was just bad and it was just like not a good story. This one, it has so much potential of good story. Like there are dramatic beats, there are like powers, there are mystical elements, that keeps you going. So it's not like I'm too bored to play the next episode. Like I'm not forcing myself to play the next episode, but it's just constantly annoying. So I'm playing the episodes. Like I'm not excited to play the next episodes, but I am playing it because I am interested in the story. I am interested to see how it ends, but I'm not excited to do it, if that makes sense. Like, for example, it's been almost a full week since I played played those last episodes. It's almost been a full week because how annoying it is. It's almost been a full week since I started talking about it. Like I've been delaying talking about it. And then even between those, I don't know, like it's just been a while. And because it's been a while because it's so annoying. Like it's becoming a chore to play. Where I'm like, I don't get it. Like now, no offense to Don't Nod or whatever their company's name is. I think it's Don't Nod. Where it's like now I understand why it seems like they're like struggling to get like sales or to like, like I heard that their double exposure game did not get as many sales as they hoped. Because obviously that's why they brought back Max, because that was like their last hope to like get a bunch of sales or something, because they're hoping like it'll reinvigorate the brand. But based off of how Life is Strange 2 is, it kind of makes sense to me why they're struggling so much, because their storytelling is just not fun. Like it is a story, and it's not necessarily ignoring Before the Storm. I'm talking specifically Life is Strange 2. It is a story. I am interested to see how it ends, but I'm not excited to play. Like, say if, like, I wouldn't be telling other people, like, oh, you gotta play this. You gotta play, like, this story is so good. You gotta play this. Like, it's just like, it just is what it is. Like, it's just like, oh, I want to play a walking simulator. I already played the ones I want to play, so I'm going to play Life is Strange 2 now. Like, where there's not going to be a viral hit. Or say people who played Life is Strange 1 and liked it, or even just barely liked it, it's not enough to make them go, I'm going to play these other ones now. I'm excited for each sequel that comes out. I'm just not. And I think it's all due to the story. Because, like, visuals-wise, the visuals are very good. Gameplay-wise, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting into. It's a walking simulator. You walk around and explore and look at stuff or investigate stuff. But these story elements are just lacking every time. Like, they have potential. They could have made this type of brother story, but it just, like, it shouldn't be as annoying as it is right now. Or it shouldn't be like the characters should be more likable, but they're not. They're not. No one is likable in this story. And it's like, I remember, episode 3 also had like a what's it called? A time element, like where it went back in time, like to, I guess, show some more context to the brother relationship. And even back in time, they show the brother being annoying. And I get it. I get what the writers are going for. Don't get me wrong. I get what they're going for, where they're showing like, this is how siblings are. They're annoying. They fight. They don't listen. There's always this drama or whatever. But in a game, like say even with a movie, usually this will last like maybe 30 minutes or whatever, or 40 minutes, maybe all the way up to half of the movie. And then there's character growth. Like something happens and then the characters grow and they learn to like appreciate each other. Like it's usually how these coming of age or like these kind of humbling, like, parent or brother or sister movies go. But this one, I'm already at the halfway point. There's no growth happening. It's just annoying after annoyance. And I don't get why. I don't get why. Like how many times do they have to reiterate that brothers can be annoying? That younger kids are annoying and are brats and are childish and, trying to parent them is hard or whatever. You don't have to keep doing that every episode. Like, hey, I think you might have forgotten, so I'm going to make it clear once again. Oh, you must have forgotten from the past episode, so I'm going to make it clear once again and again and again and again. No, you don't have to make it clear. We have memories. The reader, the player, the audience, we remember. Even if we don't, it will be in our brain. So you don't have to reiterate something every time and act like we're idiots. Like we're a freaking, I don't know, what they call it, a freaking Pumbaa, which apparently the animal for Pumbaa, like it forgets stuff after like a minute or something, because ironically Pumbaa means dumb. And the reason why they're called dumb is because they forget, they literally don't have long-term memory or something like that. Or they don't have short-term memory. But the audience does have long-term memory. We can remember stuff. So you don't have to reiterate and prove to us that this is happening. I think that's the issue with all this stuff with Life is Strange 2. They act like the audience is an idiot. Whereas like the video game, the gamers, and even especially people who know how, like story listeners or whatever, it's a matured platform. Literature or storytelling has matured. So we get the story beats. We get what happened, like, what you're trying to say most of the time. So you don't have to tell us every time. It's the same like with a movie. Like, when a movie cuts to a different scene, you can, like, say if you're on the top floor of an apartment for a movie, and then he goes into the elevator, and then it cuts, and then it shows him walking out the building. Movies have matured enough where the modern day audience knows that the cut means you just skipped all that stuff. You didn't teleport. The person or the actor went down the stair or went down the elevator and walked out the building. That's why he's out the building now. In the past, maybe they had to show him walk into the elevator, they had to show him go down the elevator, they had to show him go out the elevator, and then show him go out the building. But now it's a matured platform. Same with storytelling is matured through centuries, millennia. So you don't have to tell us every time, hey, this brother's annoying. Can't you tell that he's an annoying brother? Man, this story's about, sibling. Oh man, siblings can be hard. No, you don't have to tell us. You can maybe do it for the first and second episode and stop. Now just show the character growth. Now show the story now. Show how the characters are changing now. But the characters aren't changing. There's nothing changed about them. Only thing that changed with my character is I got an ugly freaking haircut. They said oh, we'll give you a haircut. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. The hair's getting long. Maybe I can, get a cool haircut. And they gave him freaking a mohawk thing. It looks freaking disgusting. He looks so stupid. But that's the only thing that changed with him. I'm like, okay. So all I can do, at least I'm done. That's all I can say, I guess. At least I'm done after this. Because the next, I'll play episode 4 and 5, and the game will be done. So I don't think they can make up for everything they've done. So far, the game has already shifted down to a 70 right now. If I'm and it can go lower. But I don't know if it can go above 70 anymore now. Even if the last 2 episodes are so good, it's just, you're just hearing praise after praise. I don't think it can go above 70. Because those first 3 episodes were so annoying, so bad. But I guess we'll see. Man, I don't know. I would have to look up who the screenwriters for this game are. Because this is bad. It's not as bad as Before the Storm, but it's annoying. And I shouldn't be annoyed in a story. That's the thing. It's distracting from the story because so much things are happening that are annoying. So I'm not immersed into the story. I'm more I'm now critiquing it while I'm playing it, while it's happening. Say the boy running into the car and then getting hit. I'm not going oh my gosh, that's shocking. I can't believe that just happened. I'm laughing or snickering or chuckling because I'm what just happened? This happened out of nowhere. He runs out the house and then gets hit out of nowhere? Because I thought just a couple seconds ago he was inside. And we only just went outside and started walking on the main street for whatever reason. And then he sprints out the house. He's just constantly looking out the window and sprints out the house and gets hit and dies instantly. Where you're I shouldn't be critiquing like that. That shouldn't be how it works. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe storytelling's just dying. Maybe the internet age has literally killed storytelling. And I don't know. But either way, at least I'm almost done.